What is up, everybody? Yep, it is that time again for another character in the How Strong series, and I wanted to take a little step back and analyze a character that isn't necessarily in the powerhouse ranges of power, but more in the Captain America range of power, Batman level of power, Deathstroke level of raw power, physical strength-wise, and are largely based around their skills and gear for the most part, but nothing super crazy flashy because, like I said, they are human-based characters, but you know how humans are in comic books. Just because they're a human, that does not necessarily mean they are like our real-life humans. I mean, technically, characters like Nightwing and Batman can lift over 800 pounds, and look, that may not sound like a lot considering that there's people in the world's strongest man competition that have lifted 1,000 pounds. But when you consider their height and weight for their size, that's still impossible. For somebody to weigh 200 pounds flat and can lift more than somebody like Ronnie Coleman right here. Exactly. Like these characters that this small can lift more than real life humans that are that big. Like just let that sink in for a second. But how strong is Nightwing? And I like to give a fun fact. I'm actually one of those weird people that actually like Nightwing better than Batman. I'm not saying that he's better than Batman. I'm just saying it's my personal preference is the fact that I like him better than Batman due to his style, his assertiveness to lead his own team, him not to be like a sidekick, the reason why he even went off in the first place. But let's get into how strong and skilled Nightwing is. I will be going over his post-crisis self, the most famous version of Nightwing that has a lot of feats. Might do another version of him in the future. I mean, some could debate that this Nightwing and the one from Rebirth are technically the same guy, but that's a topic for another video discussion. His standard gear includes body armor, utility belt, batarang, smoke bombs, stun grenades, gas bombs, grappling hooks, wireless trackers, first aids, taser gauntlets that can put out a whole bunch of current of electricity, his Iskrama sticks. I think it's fair to start off some feats of his actual raw skills and combat speed, like I always do with characters in this range of power. I'm well aware that this is a pre-crisis scan, but it is stated that Nightwing has been taught all the martial arts by Batman. The reason why I say this is still canon despite this being pre-crisis is the fact that he, in one of the newer comic issues, Dick Grayson referenced events similar to this, implying that he still does obtain those same fighting skills. He's one of those few martial artists like other martial artists that I've done in the past that know how to do this weird technique known as the death touch, whatever that freaking means. Oh yeah, it is a real thing. I don't know what kind of learning in martial arts you got to know to do something like this though. Officially the world's greatest acrobat, even being a better acrobat than Batman. Batman may have him in other things, but not necessarily this attribute. By the way, is that the monitor? There was the time he even climbed the Eiffel Tower without any gear or nothing. This is one of those occasions I told you about how they're not normal humans. I mean, just look at the level of jumping ability for this. Dodges this dude's attack, then jumps with a large leap. Like, really? How? And not only that, but he's able to land this high up without any harm or injury. The acrobats. Shown to literally be able to wall bounce from wall to wall and land safely. He was even able to move through a laser field. Evidently, this is the time when he was pretending to be Batman, like the many occasions he's done this plenty of times in the past. Consistently shown to have ridiculous agility and hops, literally. I mean, I'm sorry, but when you start jumping this crazy, it's like you can like fly. Like what kind of humans can do this in real life? That lets you know they're not normal humans. Being one of the main members of Titans or a lot of different organizations, he's able to avoid things other Titans got tagged by. As you can see here, still able to avoid those tentacles. How can you possibly think he's a human with these leaps? I'm convinced, man, this dude was drinking some super soldier serum in his drinks when he was younger. A quick look at his stats. He's 5'10", 175. He's this freaking strong. I've always been a firm believer that Speed Force users should be out of these characters' league, but I will admit, say for example, if a Speed Force user is holding back, I do believe they have the ability to dodge a Speed Force user, like if the Speed Force user is underestimating them because they know they don't have no abilities. And in this occasion, I think this could be the occasion for Nightwing. I'm not saying he can beat a Speed Force user or he can like actually avoid an attack if a Speed Force user really wanted to hit you. I'm not saying that either, but I'm saying in this particular occasion, that could have been him just, you know, showing his ridiculously fast speed, and she could have just been underestimating his speed. You already know Batman has security everywhere, even in his Batcave, and he was able to get through it in just a couple minutes, showing his level of skill, combat speed, and etc. When he was pretending to be Batman like the one of the million times he's done this, he's able to move, some would say, move faster than the eye could see, showing that, yeah, he does have superhuman level combat speed. This is nothing new for DC or Marvel characters, by the way, so this, I really don't think this is an outlier or a bad showing either. Catwoman, a formidable fighter in her own right. Evidently, he's even faster than her. Nightwing really does specialize in combat speed and agility. If you're still not convinced about the fact that Catwoman, somebody that, you know, always has the bites for Batman, even stated that he's faster than Batman. Another occasion of him being massively faster than the eye can see. Grab the gun out of his hand before they can react. A lot of people might not know this, but Cassandra Cain is one of the best fighters ever, being probably better than Barbara Gordon, that girl. At least in the straight line movement, he's faster than Cassandra Cain, evidently. This could possibly be an outlier, but when he was a Teen Titan, there was this time he was able to somehow react to Wally West Flash? But how? I don't care. I know Wally West was probably holding back and he wasn't going his absolute fastest, but sheesh. Not only did he tag him, but he wrapped him up in his robe. Proof that he has combat speed faster than bullets. After the bullets are already fired, he moves them in the way of the bullet, human shield style. Oh, this is something super light. More deflecting, more occasion of him dodging, people shooting at him. Somebody that has superhuman reflexes clearly doesn't stop him from being able to react to that other person that has superhuman reflexes, meaning that he does too have superhuman reflexes. Is able to avoid sniper fire. All right, you guys get the point. Nightwing has ridiculous skill, combat speed, and etc. But how strong is he physically, and what are some of his greatest battle feats? I will admit, Nightwing has some really cool battle feats when you really analyze and dig into them. Oh yeah, did I mention he actually fought the entire SWAT team? Yeah, I'm not joking. He literally fought the entire SWAT team and leaped around them, and danced around them. Catwoman, a great fighter in her own right, tried to fight on par with Nightwing. It was a nice little scuffle, but he ended up handling her and pinning her against the wall. Here's some pretty good marksmanship. He was even able to break an arrow with nunchucks. Bad characters always have this cool gear. His suit even has a built-in laser in it, evidently. He even has a biometric scanner. On special occasions, he even has battle suits like battle armor. I gotta admit, this battle suit looks really dope. He even has a foam cannon. Look at this heavy artillery. He even has an insulated suit to give him even further protection. There's a time he was able to actually fight Man-Bat, a creature bat thingy, put him in a full Nelson and everything, showing that he has some out of the ordinary levels of strength to be able to do this. When you're not a powerhouse character, it takes a little more for people to analyze strength feats. This, for example, is a lot harder than people would think. Picks him up like this. Like, really? Do you know how hard this is? You got to be out of the ordinary strong to do this. Was able to break through a layer of ice underwater. There's a time he was even able to do this to Bane, one of the beings that broke Batman, like Bruce Wayne. One of his many shows of acrobatics, but it's also arm strength to be able to pull this off like this as well. There's a time he was able to snap metal restraining cords, like, whoa. Another occasion of him in ice. Literally flexed his way out of it, like, wow. Still think he's a normal human? Even though he is by definition, but come on, let's be real. You know Gorilla Grodd, the guy always fights the Flash. He was actually able to hit Gorilla Grodd hard enough to make him bleed. The same Gorilla Grodd to be fighting Flash, by the way. I'm just going to let that sink in. This guy's not no normal gorilla. This is not like making some normal gorilla bleed. Not only is he bigger than your average gorilla, but he's also way stronger than your average gorilla based on feats. He was able to cut steel supports by throwing a weapon that freaking hard. Yeah, he can throw stuff really hard to the point where decapitation? Well, dang. Nothing out of the ordinary for people in this tier. It actually strikes somebody through a brick wall, making big cracks and indentions. Can casually flip motorcycles. He was able to knock somebody out wearing thick layers of armor like this, showing that, yeah, he is definitely out of the ordinary. I don't know how he did this so easily, but he was actually able to knock out Cassandra Cain. Like, dang. You're probably confused on why this is such a big deal, because Cassandra Cain is one of the best female fighters. Like, I'm not exaggerating. Wait until I do a feat run on her later in the future. All right, guys, to end this video off, I'm going to go over really fast his battle feats. Man, he has fought some really tough opponents over the years, and I'm going to go through them fairly quickly. I'm not going to go through the entire scans, but I'll at least let you see glimpses of each and every one of his greatest battle feats, in my personal opinion. So let's get right into it. Most superhuman characters in comics, even though he's technically doesn't have any superpowers, but let's face it, he's Captain America level, even though he's not technically on those super soldier serum based on his feats like Batman, similar to Batman, how he does superhuman stuff, punch people through brick walls, catching freaking Wally West, even though he's holding back, but still ridiculous. One shot knocking out Cassandra Cain, another superhuman character. That's crazy. Putting Man-Bat in a full Nelson, like what? You know that guy on the Arkham games? Well, evidently he's in the comics too, Azrael. He was actually able to stalemate him in a sword match. You guessed it. He has also fought Roy Hopper. Yep, he was pretending to be Batman here again. And yeah, it was able to go one-on-one with him. One of the most entertaining fights. Booyah, booyah. People that like to sleep on Nightwing, yeah, he's definitely a Batman level character despite you loving Batman more, but they was actually able to defeat Ra's al Ghul in the actual fight. Yeah, Ra's al Ghul. With Deathstroke being a Titans villain, that makes sense for him to fight him a lot over the years. You would think that Slade would curb stomp him, but that is yet to be the case, consistently shown to be on par with each other. So they can fight with each other for an extended amount of time consistently. That's right, he can fight freaking Slade, Deathstroke, Wilson himself. He's actually fought him on more than one occasion. Another time when he fought Deathstroke, one-on-one, in a war, it was a very tough fight. Yeah, he really can hang with him that much. Most people make excuses saying Deathstroke wasn't fighting as hard, he wasn't holding back, blah, 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 blah. I think the writer intent is clear that he's supposed to be on that level. Another advantage of him having the advantage over Cassandra Cain, one of the rawest female fighters. I know I showed this earlier, but another occasion of him handling Catwoman. He fought this skill being known as Ubu, a being that has fought Batman before in the past, states that his skill rivals the Bats. Huntress, another female fighter that's going to be in that new live-action movie Birds of Prey, he took down Huntress in his comic. Somebody you wouldn't necessarily think is out of his league. He was actually able to fight Hawkman. Yes, that's right. I didn't stutter. He's fighting the actual Hawkman here. Did I also mention he has absurd willpower to the point? He can even resist freaking mind control. Yeah, a guy that has no superpowers can resist mind control. Has absurd stamina to the point where he can fight for hours. Remember how I told you about Cassandra Cain earlier? I thought this was appropriate. This time Cassandra Cain actually had to fight Batman. Batman had trouble registering her movements. Yeah, that's why fighting her is impressive. She also dodges attacks from a weakened Supergirl, a freaking Kryptonian. So yeah, Nightwing handling her is no easy feat at all. Some have even labeled her a better fighter than Lady Shiva and even a better fighter than Batman by some people's opinions. I'm not necessarily saying I agree with that opinion. I'm just telling you what people say about her. So Nightwing outmatching her or knocking her out is no easy feat in itself. Well, guys, that is just about to do it. I hope I didn't spend too much time on some feats. I hope you got a good understanding of his level and skill level and combat speed wise, which should be pretty known. He's one of those characters that people lowball because he doesn't quote unquote have superpowers. But like I said before, humans in fiction don't have to have superpowers to be superhuman. I mean, this dude we've seen jump like ridiculously large distances, has ridiculous levels of super strength, fights superhuman people on a daily basis, was actually able to do Bane dirty. We know Bane has enhanced strength, and Bane was the same person that was able to mess up Batman. Nightwing was able to get the advantage over characters like Catwoman, who is way better than your average human in fighting skills. He's actually he's able to fight entire SWAT teams on his own, able to dodge bullets after they're fired, able to shield people with bullets after the bullet is fired, showing he can react to bullets while they are in mid-flight. That's consistent with other characters like Cassandra Cain, Batwoman, who can do the same with bullets, so it isn't an outlier. He was actually able to even catch Wally West the Flash while he was holding back. The characters he's also on, like Cassandra Cain, was able to dodge attacks from Supergirl. So the speed feats are definitely consistent, and he is definitely a force to be reckoned with. It's been quoted multiple times that he's rivals Batman in his skills. He has combat speed comparative with Batman, and then there's a couple statements that state more than once, more than twice, more than 3 times that he is faster than Batman. Or even if it's not stated that many times, it's been implied that he could be faster than Batman. That might be the one attribute he might have Batman in. I'm not saying it's a big, large gap against Batman. Nightwing was 99 in speed, Batman would be 97. Like, it's not a large gap. If he had any advantages over Batman, it would be the acrobatics and combat speed to the less degree, but it is astronomical either way. One thing we can all agree on that he does have on Batman is his agility. It is actually confirmed. That part's not even opinionated. Like other Bat family members, he has interesting tech, lasers. He even has battle armor, like I showed you in that one scan. There's electrified tasers in his suit as well. This is why he can put shocks throughout his tongs. He has really good stuff too, which I didn't really go over in this video like that, but you guys know he has that good level of stealth. Being a leader of the Titans, it makes sense for him to be this level. Do not mess with Dick Grayson. Did you guys learn anything new about Dick Grayson? Did you know he was this skilled? Did you think there was a vast gap between him and Batman? I never thought it was a vast gap between Batman. I hope you didn't either. Just because he's Batman doesn't mean he's leagues above every single person. Like I said, I'm not saying be better than Batman. I personally like him better, but I can see how people like Batman better, and I can also see how people think Batman is still superior to him. But at the same time, somebody that fights Deathstroke that many times cannot be a lightweight, but that's just me. What do you guys think? How fast do you think he is? How skilled do you think he is? How strong do you think he is? Do you think this was a good portrayal of him? Is there fights and feats I didn't go over that you think I should have? Because of course I can't go over every single feat. I mean, Post-Crisis lasted for about 15 years. There's no way I can go over every single feat or 20 years worth of feats in one video, but I tried to go over the ones that were most impressive, the most bulkish, the ones that get your attention the most. But what do you guys think? Post some comments down below. Let me know what you all think.